Hello, welcome to the Understanding the Basics of Mediumship. So, this is the second project that started with the self healing method. So, it's a project from this method, and you can, if you're interested, you can go back to better understand the self healing method. We have another group of activities based on that. As part of the channel, you can always go back and check it out. So the work we're gonna do will probably take about 5 or 6 weeks, and those are the three books that I'm using as my main reference to make a basic understanding about mediumship. So it's gonna be the Mediums book from Allan Kardec, the Spirits book from also Allan Kardec, and in the domain of mediumship from the Spirit André Luiz. So first we need to understand what is the purpose of this program. So the idea is to explore a better understanding of mediumship. So we can kind of start healing ourselves based on what is happening around us in this immense invisible world, right? So we want to start understanding, because ultimately we are all mediums. So we either we know or not, that's our problem, but the interaction is still exists. So we need to understand how it works. Something that this program is not, right? So this is not a strategy to practice or developing mediumship. It's really about a main understanding of what is happening with each of us in this world where we are interacting all the time with different energies and different things that are happening. So this is the first part, and stay tuned. Every week on Tuesdays I will upload another part until we finish the introduction of basic mediumship. So first we need to define what is a medium, right? So it's a person gifted with this ability to be the intermediary between the spirits and the man. So it's kind of, for example, if you use a cell phone, right? You want to talk to somebody who is far away from you. The cell phone is the instrument. So you have somebody who's sending the message, somebody who's receiving the message, and the phone is the instrument that is helping provide the instrument, the tool to make this connection. And again, the mediums are people who create this interaction. They can communicate with both worlds, and by doing so, they can provide and transmit the message. One thing to keep in mind is that there's no age related for mediumship, or sex, or intelligence level, none of that. Any person at any point in life can be a medium. Could be a 3 years old, can be a woman, a man, it doesn't matter. It really, anybody can be a medium. Now, let's kind of go in depth a little bit of what we're talking about. So let's understand the spirit. So I got this definition from Google in order to help us start understanding what I mean by a spirit. So really, spirit is the non-physical part of a person. So if you think your body as this physical part, there's something that's beyond this physical part, and that's we call the spirit. As a matter of fact, and I'm gonna say a little bit more later, when this non-physical part, right, it's connected with a physical part, we're gonna call it soul. So later on we'll see that really we will be differentiating between a spirit and a incarnated spirit we'll call a soul. So in order to understand a little bit more about spirits, I'm going to give you an overall understanding of the different levels of those spirits. And this is all coming from the Spirits book. I have links. So if you're interested in knowing more or even having the book, I have the book in PDF. So you can come at the end of this presentation. I will have links, and I'm going to put it at the bottom too, where you can go and not only access this presentation, but also links where you can get access to two of those books for free, and the other one, if you're interested, the third one you can buy. I think it's like $5 or $6. So understand the spirits, right? So there are many layers of spirits, but if you could group all of them and get a bigger level, would kind of be divided into three different types: imperfect spirits, good spirits, and pure spirits. So all spirits are different, and a group of spirits can belong to one or another classification based on their, intelligence, morality, knowledge, power, and etc. So they're all different, and then they will fall into one category based on three characteristics, based on those characteristics. So the third are imperfect spirits, and those are spirits that they are heavily, predominantly connected to matter, right? And they have, feelings like pride, selfishness. They think about, they have the tendency to the evil. They have passions. So those are spirits on the third level. Those are considered imperfect spirits. So many of what we call devil or enemy. So they are really not the devil. They are just spirits who are in the imperfect level. So the second level is the good spirits. They still have matter. They still have a physical body. However, the predominance is the spirit over the matter. So they have this desire to be good, right? They are propense to do good things, and they have some knowledge. They have moral excellence. So they are a little above, or should I say a lot above the third level, where they are really possessing a lot of the good characteristics, and they have inside of them wisdom and charity. So they're really in a better level. So they are not predominantly negative. And then we have the first level of spirits, that they would be the closest to what we would call perfection. The only way we are not calling it perfection is that only God can be perfect. And if they were perfect, they would be God. So then we call them pure spirits. So there's no physical influence. They are superior, both intellectual, morally. So they are spirits, for example, that like Jesus or the angels. So those are the ones that we will call pure spirits. Now let's go back and think about what we are made of, so you can understand a little bit of the interaction. So before I can talk about the interaction with the spirits, we need to understand what we are. So pretty much we are divided in three parts. And the first part that we have a contact with is the physical part, what we call our body. It's this envelope, right, that we are being covered. So our spirits manifest in this world through our physical body. We use the body to see and do things. And then we have our soul, which is pretty much our incarnated spirit that has here a physical body, has the envelope, and also the spirit within this envelope we'll call a soul. So a spirit without the body, right, we'll call a spirit. And the spirit with a body we'll call a soul. We are pretty much the same. The only difference is that a soul has an envelope while the spirit doesn't have this physical envelope that we use right now, which is our body. So pretty much, so we can understand, we are really mainly divided in three things: our physical body, our soul, and then of course there is this third part, which is here, right here in the middle, right? Because our spirit doesn't have a form, but there is something that has to connect between the spirit and the physical body, and this we'll call the link. And this link will be this intermediary matter. It's still a matter, but it's not as physical as our physical body, but it is something that will help connect, such as that when we discarnate, when we pass, when we die, we lose our physical body and we only keep this still material body, but not as material as our physical body. And then the spirit will still manifest using this spiritual body. So let's understand a little bit this link that we will call perispirit. And peris is like around, right? And around the spirit. So it's this link that will be around the spirit. So let's understand. So here is, right here, you can see a physical body and the spirit of the same person. While here, it's a spirit, right, without a body, meaning so you only have the perispirit. So pretty much the perispirit is the semi-material envelope. It's still material, but less material than the physical body, and it will help the connection. So when a medium is working, it's really connecting from perispirit to perispirit. And when someone discarnates or dies, then the physical body will die and the perispirit will still be part of that, connected to ultimately the spirit. Now let's understand communication with the mediums. So pretty much communications can occur two different ways: occult or ostensive. And that's where I'm going to really focus our conversation, the next parts of this, because most of the communications are occult. And what we see as ostensive, that we can clearly identify, say, oh, this is the influence of spirit. So I see something happening, it's something weird, right? Lights turning on and off and other things happening. Those are ostensive, so you can clearly see. But there are a lot of those that you can kind of tell, but the influence exists there. And that's where we get the most impact from the spiritual world. Because all of us are somehow mediums. Some people with more extensive characteristics and some with less. And because of that, often we are involved with a lot of spirits around us. We are influenced by them. However, they come as thoughts and we don't really understand why we are obsessed with some thoughts, or sometimes we don't even notice that we are being influenced by we still are. And that's what we're going to do the most approach to this introduction. Now, what's some ways the spirits can communicate? They can do through writing, and they call this psychography, where a medium can write down the thoughts or the feelings that are coming from a spirit. It could be through speech, and it could be through physical manifestations. Usually the physical manifestations could be noise or things showing up, disappearing, or for example, you see, from your eyes something happening. So those are overall. But for example, from writing, it could be also painting. There are some mediumistic painters. So there are the main three characteristics, but those three can be divided in several other areas. Then we will talk to later on within this introduction. Now, how do spirits manifest? So how are they coming to us? And who they are? They could be relatives, they could be friends, they could be enemies, or people in general who passed. And those spirits will come in two basic ways. Some through evocation, right? You ask them to come. And sometimes you ask them unconsciously, such as you simply start thinking about them, or you lost a friend or a relative, somebody you love, and you keep thinking and crying. So unconsciously you are evocating this spirit, you're calling the spirit towards you. And it could also be spontaneous, where we are not directly calling them, but they come and they show up, they manifest sometimes in our dreams. Sometimes, you a loved one who you haven't thought about for a while, eventually you start thinking about this person, you're feeling or you're missing this person. It could be that the spirit just spontaneously came and start really being around us, and where you can feel it, but we can clearly tell, right, what's happening. So I'm talking about the least manifestation types, where it's not very clear. Of course, if you take a picture and you see a spirit in the picture, or if you see some manifestations, you will know the presence is there. But not necessarily in all cases we will have a clear understanding. And that's why we're going to go through this basic mediumship program, so you kind of have a better understanding of what is happening around us. So this is what we have for today. I hope that you enjoyed. Here are some ways to connect with us. If you enjoyed this presentation, you want to continue watching, make sure to subscribe to our channel. I'm going to be posting for the next few weeks more information about mediumship and how we interact with the spiritual world. If you want to send me a message, you can go on Facebook and look for Self-Healing Method Program. Also on YouTube, I'm going to have one area for all the visitors related to this specific approach. So if you're interested in learning more about it, subscribe, and join us in the next part of the mediumship basics. Okay, take care for now.